بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. أما بعد, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. My name is Zakariya and I'll be starting inshallah a new series covering all the rules, all the essential rules of Tajweed. And alhamdulillah, I'm very blessed to be working with U of M Dearborn, who has reached out to me to start this initiative, and I couldn't wait to start. And before I get into this series, I just want to cover some of the reasons why we study Tajweed. So, what is the hukm of studying Tajweed? Is it sunnah? Is it wajib? It's actually fard ayn. Studying Tajweed is fard ayn. It's compulsory for every single Muslim. And the reason why is because we're reading the words of Allah. It's the literal spoken words of Allah. And we have to know Quran in order to pray. We have to know how to read Surah Al-Fatiha. We have to know how to read other surahs in the Quran. And those are pillars of our salah. It's a component of our salah. If we don't know how to read Quran, we won't know how to pray. If we don't pray, that's obviously a terrible thing. So a lot of people get discouraged. They think that studying Tajweed is going to take years and years and it's impossible. But really, the thing about the Quran is that if you just put in effort, Allah will open up so many doors for you, and you'll gain so much knowledge in a short amount of time. And Tajweed especially, it's one of those things where people feel like they are kind of forced into it. But even Rasulullah ﷺ is encouraging people. Rasulullah ﷺ, this is a hadith narrated in Sahih Muslim. He says, "Al-Mahiru bil-Qur'ani ma'a-safarati al-kirami al-barara والذي يقرأ القرآن ويتتعتع فيه وهو عليه شاق له أجران." The one who is proficient in the Quran is associated with the noble, upright, recording angels. As for he who falters while reading the Quran, and he finds it difficult to read and apply the rules of Tajweed, he will have two rewards. So one reward is for reading the Quran itself. The other reward is for his struggle, because he wants so much, he is trying so hard to gain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by reading his words. Another hadith, Rasulullah ﷺ says, recorded in Jami' al-Tirmidhi, says, "Man qara'a harfan min kitabillahi falahu bihi hasanatun wal hasanatu bi'ashri amthaliha la aqulu alif lam mim harfun walakin alifun harfun wa lamun harfun wa mimun harf." So Rasulullah ﷺ says, whoever recites a letter from the Quran, then he receives the reward of that letter tenfold. And he says, I do not say that alif lam mim is one letter, but I say that alif is one letter, lam is one letter, and mim is one letter. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, every single letter in the Quran, 10 hasanat. Imagine, and people really, people underestimate the power of a hasana. But you have to understand that one hasana could be the difference between your salvation in the hereafter, and it can be the means of entering paradise. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, or Rasulullah says that if you read the Quran, every single letter, Allah will give you 10 hasanat, inshallah, if you have the niyyah of gaining His pleasure. So there's really, and by the way, we don't read the Quran just to get hasanat. Like that's not the main reason why we read Quran. That's obviously a reason, but the main reason why we read the Quran is to benefit and apply those verses in our lives. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنِ. Do they not think? Do they not comprehend the Quran? And you don't need to be a scholar to do that. You just need to put in effort, no matter if you're young or old. You just need to put in effort, open translation, open seerah, and seerah is directly related to the Quran because the Quran was revealed in different times in the Prophet's life. So understanding seerah is also understanding Quran. You just have to put in a little effort. It doesn't have to be a juz'a a day. It can be one ayah a day, and that's really all that's required of you. Just put in a little effort every single day. Have a goal, set a goal for yourself that you want to read something, learn about the Quran or the Prophet ﷺ every single day. And the Prophet ﷺ says, and this is in Surah Al-Furqan, وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّ إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. So this is Rasulullah ﷺ in this ayah. He's complaining to Allah that, oh Allah, my people, he's complaining about his own nation, اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. They have neglected the Quran. They're leaving this Quran. So subhanAllah, Rasulullah ﷺ is speaking against his own people. It shows you how big of a deal this is. Quran should be the reason, like one of the main reasons why we wake up every morning. And there was a Sahabi who said that I hate the day that passes by and I don't see the Mus'haf. I don't look at the words of Allah. But where's that attitude with us now? We make excuses just to not read Quran, to not study Islam, to delay Salah. So we should not have this attitude whatsoever. And this brings us into the science of Tajweed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Qiyamah, فَإِذَا قَرَأْنَاهُ فَاتَّبِعْ قُرْآنَهُ. So once we have recited a revelation through the angel Gabriel, follow its recitation. فَاتَّبِعْ قُرْآنَهُ. Follow every single thing. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Imran, قُلْ أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْكَافِرِينَ. So that ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding us to do ta'ah, that is the basic, that's your basic saying, like, I obey the Prophet and I obey Allah and His Messenger. And if you don't even do ta'ah, then فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْكَافِرِينَ, that automatically puts you in a state of kufr. Okay? So ta'ah, like I mentioned earlier, just the basic effort to read Quran, that is what is required of you. But if you look at the verse before it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهِ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمْ اللَّهِ. Allah's commanding the Prophet ﷺ that if you were to truly love Allah, then follow, do ittiba' of Rasulullah ﷺ. So what is the difference between ittiba' and ta'ah? So Ustadh Numan Ali Khan says in one of his tafasir that the difference between ta'ah and ittiba', ta'ah is you recognizing, like, okay, these are the commands of Allah, this is what Rasulullah ﷺ is telling me to do, and khalas, I'm gonna do it. That's the command. But ittiba', it's a different type of following. Ittiba' is, how did Rasulullah ﷺ sleep? How did he eat? What did he say in the morning? What did he say before he slept? Like all those little things. Like Rasulullah ﷺ, when he said, "Pray as you see me praying," the Sahabis were, they looked at every single thing, every single detail that Rasulullah ﷺ did when he was praying. They did not move at like one little bit. They did absolute ta'ah and absolute ittiba'. So those are our examples. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِذَا قَرَأْنَاهُ فَاتَّبِعْ قُرْآنَهُ, that's the attitude that we have to have towards the Quran. And ittiba' of the Quran is called Tajweed. That's it. So that's really all there is to Tajweed. It's just how we do ittiba' of Rasulullah ﷺ. We're just doing ittiba' of the Quran. And when you do ittiba' of those two things, then you will experience the highest level of success in this life and the next life. So inshallah, I'll talk about this in the series. I'll go through the essential components of the ilm of Tajweed. So inshallah, I hope to see you there. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.